Hi, I'm out for my evening walk. To post a short video here on dealing with the approval of others. And it was a very, very tough experience that I had to go through at one point. And it came with, at one point, it came with a very, very heavy cost. So make this as a short video, and just simply from my own experience. And it's there to assist or to guide, or as an example that if others are going through it, that there's another way out. And at one point we all have to break free. We all have to break free of others' opinions, others' intentions, cultural norms, societal norms, or you need to, if you want to up level to the next arena, you have to be in my world in order to up level somewhere else. And all these type of limiting thoughts, programs, cultural norms, cultural stresses, financial stresses, family pressure, and all this. I'll share with you that I found out the hard way that when we show up here, me as the example, when I showed up here in this physical world, I showed up here on behalf of my soul, and not for the sake of being in with my mom and dad. Bless them, they're nice parents. They were simply the vehicle or the vessel to bring me from the spiritual world into the physical world. The soul is aware that at one point I had to go through some experiences, and more importantly, without being stuck by it. So I mentioned from the beginning of the video there that I had really, really struggled with this, and it almost buried me at one point. I didn't have the approval or the recognition from somebody else, simply because they didn't deal with their own life. And there's no judgment, there's no blame with this. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how I look at it, or just the way for whatever it is, that when we show up here, we're showing up here as a soul contract on behalf of the soul. And the soul is a very, very clear understanding that we're all going to go through human emotional experiences. And the most important part is without being stuck by it. At one point, I had to make in my own mind that I want to bend over backwards and going all out for many, many years to make somebody else's dream a reality. And I've shared in my videos that one of my chief aims years ago was being as a commercial pilot. It was a good experience. I'm grateful I did it. It technically is the easiest thing. It's easy. Flying an airplane is one of the easiest things you'll ever do. It's like riding a bike or riding a bicycle. It's easy. What got me into hot water with it was, at the time I was paying for the thing, and that was about $120,000, and I just simply didn't have the funds or the resources. And I did whatever I could do there, and I was working different jobs and hustling and setbacks and starting and stopping things. And at one point I had to make a decision going, is this really worth it for me? Or at one point I have to pull the pin with this and start doing something else. So what I found out is that I had to really, really drop the opinions of others, and especially for those that were not able to do it themselves. So this was a tough one, and especially for the people at the time that were occupying rent in my head, and the expectations of why is this not done, why is that not done, why is this goal not done yet, why are you not flying yet? And I think the tough one was at one point, and it's not there to put anyone underneath the bus, it's simply there to, as the example that I overcame all this. That's the good part of it. That even at one point when I was flying professionally, and I had mentioned that I was even approached by the RCMP to work for them for a while. And after my 7 years being on call in the oil and gas sector, I said, thank you very much. I've lived, I've enjoyed my experiences. I'm coming here to enjoy my life. So, and I shared that with you on this video, that when I shared this with somebody that was very near and dear to me, that said, okay, well, I've done the flying part, and they got so mad that I didn't take the offer working for the RCMP. And I'm sharing this, like I said, not to put anybody underneath the bus. I'm sharing that each and every one of us, we have to follow our own dreams and goals. And that was something for me that I had to really come to terms with. And I realize now, after doing an extensive amount of healing work, that you cannot expect somebody else to ever be satisfied when they haven't dealt with their own life. And if others are drinking, if others are abusing their power, they're abusing their authority, for others that are very demanding, or they can get very, very aggressive, or they can get very, very volatile, or worse, it is simply there as a reminder that we all have our own life, we all have our own soul contract, and each and every one of us, we're coming here to get with whatever we need to experience. And for myself, at one point, I had to go through some other experiences, some other tougher experiences, going in there and then energetically unplugging the mess, and then at one point saying thank you very much, and then getting the hell out of it, and then living your life. For myself, living my life with a smile on my face and saying thank you very much, thank you for the lessons. And along the way, as I was stepping into this, the universe was starting to show me or guide me or steer me, or my soul in particular, was showing me the other skill sets that for the many years I either completely negated, I wasn't even aware of, or I had no clue about. So part of it for me is when I showed up here, it was to learn other skill sets, to learn other skill sets, other areas of my life where I didn't give it my 100%. And from that one experience, speaking was one of them, leadership was another, and it was simply the ability of saying, hey, it's not that difficult, because when we show up here from the universe, we already have these ingredients. The soul already has this. The soul already has the self-worth. The soul already has the self-confidence. Part of it is having these human experiences, but without being stuck by it. And I'm sharing this here because at one point, this shit really weighed me down. I don't want to see anybody really else going through it, because when you go through something like that, myself as an example, I mastered very well at the 6-figure job. I was flying around. I was building up my career, and then the universe showed me something else, because the soul's like, hey, we've done this multiple lifetimes already. We're not coming here for another repeated experience. Because the soul's saying, hey, when we show up here, the soul does not really want to be here in this physical realm. That's going to upset a lot of people here. Because when the soul decides to come here, the soul's coming here with a very, very clear intention that, as myself as the ambassador, or for yourself as your own ambassador for your own soul, the soul's saying at one point, get in here, clean up the emotional entanglements, and then get the frick out of there, and then do whatever we're meant to be doing. And unfortunately, most souls never even get close to this. So there's more to it than just living this physical life here. We, as an eternal being here, when we show up here, we're showing up here for the lucky few, and I mean one of them myself, that it's to break free of all these emotional entanglements, and then it's to clear up everything from the past, and especially for the things that were at one point where I felt stuck, or where I wasn't able to move or advance with it. The moment I released that emotional friction, those emotional entanglements for me, I'm like, oh my God, from that one tiny experience from my past, I wound up overextending it by another 20, 30 or longer years. And I had to say, is this serving me, or do I really need to cut my losses and keep moving with this? And the most rewarding thing I ever did is the moment I took a chance on me, and I'm going to state that again, the moment I took a chance on me, I put 2 and 2 together that I'm not doing this for anybody else, or for anybody else's approval, or for anybody else's recognition. I'm doing this for me. And I trust at one point you have your own epiphany with that, because we're all coming here to live our own life and fulfill with whatever that contract is. Because it's a binding contract. And I'm aware that many people are stuck, and there's another way out of this. And the moment where one takes personal ownership, or that they simply take that chance on themselves, where they really have the clear message of the painful lessons. And from all the painful lessons, they say, thank you very much. And if that peer pressure keeps coming in from somebody else close within the family, or from work, or wherever else, you have to ask yourself, are you doing it for yourself? Or was I doing it for me? Or was I doing it to make somebody else comfortable? And at the moment, I cut my losses with everything, saying, thank you very much, thank you, universe. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the growth. Thank you for showing me with whatever I need to deal with. And then I had to take massive and immediate and accountable action for me to really level up, and then clear it all out, and then start living. So I simply wanted to share this video because it was something that was very, very near and dear to me. And I trust that it inspires somebody else that at one point, if you're in a situation like this, and especially if you're the one on the receiving side feeling the brunt of it, it's not worth it. And it's a sad thing at times seeing somebody later on that we all either respect or admire or put on a high pedestal, and then finding out that it's not quite the case. So just hold yourself use your good judgment, use your own intuition of things, and use your life experience with wherever it's taken you, and be true to yourself. And that was the big thing. Once it started being true and authentic to me, yeah, I stumbled at times. I had some really great days and some other days where I went down. I'm like, okay, well, I'm down, but I'm not out. And I got right back up again, and it was a game changer. It really changed a lot of things, and where it was like, this is possible. I'm not doing it for somebody else's approval. I'm doing it for me. And the moment I started having that energy and that cultivation of energy inside of me, everything else started to change. So that's it. I wish you a good evening wherever you may be, or a good day, and be kind with yourself, treat each other well, and until next time, take care.